Hello friends, welcome to dpielts YouTube channel. Today we are discuss about writing task 2. In this writing task 2, we are understand with some of word which use daily in the task 2 essay. There are 5 type of writing task 2 essay. First is problem solution, second is cause and effects, third is advantage and disadvantage, fourth is opinion essay, and fifth is two-part question essay. In this writing task 2 essay, we write 4 to 5 paragraph. First is introduction paragraph. In this paragraph, 3 sentence. First is general statement. In this general statements, you can start with recently and nowadays words. Second is paraphrase topic sentence, and third sentence is what the essay is to discuss. Second paragraph is body paragraph 1. In this body paragraph, we are write 3 sentences. First sentence is first viewpoint, which means first our idea. In this sentence, we are write compound and complex sentence. The second is reason. In this sentence, we are write complex or compound in a conditional or passive voice type sentences. And third is example. In this sentence, we are write complex in cleft tone sentence. And third is body paragraph 2. In this body paragraph, we are write 3 sentences. First is second viewpoint. In this sentence, we are use a complex compound sentences in perfect tense. And second sentence is reason. In this sentence, we are write complex or compound in gerund tone. And third is example. In this sentence, we are write complex in inversive tone. And fourth paragraph is conclusion. In this conclusion paragraph, we are write 3 sentences. First sentence is general statement. In this sentence, you can start in a nutshell and overall word. And second sentence is what the essay discussed, and third sentence is closing statement. And so we are study Ielts writing task 2, phrases and vocabulary. First, phrases to open or start an essay. First is many or some people claim, opine, believe that there is no, and second is there is no denying that. Third is it is often said that. Fourth is this day, nowadays, in this day and age. Fifth is it goes without saying that. Sixth is it is universally accepted that. Seventh is we live in an age when many of you are. It is people are divided in their opinion regarding. And 9 is reason of sentence and is one of the most important issue. And last is whether blank or blank is a controversial issue. In this blank, we are used some of in this whether sentence, we are used some of our excuse in right in this sentence. Or phrases to end the introduction part. Let us examine both views before reaching a concrete decision. Second, the following paragraph discuss whether or and reach a reasonable conclusion. Third is the following essay takes a look at both sides of the argument. Fourth is my 2 cents go for. Fifth is however I strongly believe that. Sixth is I oppose the view and my reason will be explained in the following paragraph. Seventh is I will support this view with arguments in the following paragraph. Seventh, I personally believe that it is thus the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages. And last is I wholeheartedly believe that this trend should be changed. Well, some of vocabulary which is uh, helpful for the opinion part of introduction. In this opinion part of introduction, we are used in my opinion. I strongly opine that. I strongly agree with the idea that. I strongly disagree with the given topic. I think my opinion is that, personally speaking, in my view, I believe apparently, personally speaking, according to me, from my point of view, in this, not in my point of view, as far as I am concerned, from my perspective, I release to my way of thinking. It seems to me that, to my mind, my own view on the matter is, it appears that I feel that I understand that I suppose. Vocabulary for introducing an idea in the sentences. It is true that first and foremost, initially, to begin with, to start with, let us take a look at it is worth considering in the first place. Though it is true that some people believe that, many people think that, according to my, some people believe that, many support the viewpoint that, and on the one hand, vocabulary for challenging and opposing idea. On the other hand, on the contrary, however, nevertheless or nonetheless, but nonetheless, nevertheless, oppositely, alternatively, unlike whilst, although, though, even though, despite, or in spite of the fact that, alternatively, in contrast to this, the again, on the other hand, despite the fact that, even so, yet, meanwhile. Vocabulary for conclusion. In this conclusion, we are used in conclusion, in summary, to conclude with, to sum up, in general, to summarize, in short, all in all, overall, on the whole, to draw the conclusion in a nutshell, to elucidate, to in cons to elucidate means make something clear or to explain, and other is all things considered, by and large, taking everything into consideration, taking everything into account, weighing thinking of both sides of the argument. And in the our connectors, so these are not our connectors. There are a number of connectors in the English language that can be used to help you show contrast, similarly, outcome, result, sequence, and order, or relevance, in importance, exemplification, emphasis, explanation, dismissal, summarizing, or concluding, particularly focusing, timing, and correction. Connectors are especially useful when it comes to writing your IELTS essay, as they will be able to help you to optimize your essay. Below is a list of all the connectors within the English language, categorized by what they are used for. There are also examples to help you see how they are applied. So we are watch similarly. First is likewise. There, and their example is, there is never the perfect time to tell someone something unfortunate. Likewise, no one is every ever ready to receive bad news. Second is, in the same way. Their example is, using painkillers will heal you of a headache. In the same way, cough syrups gets rid of a cough. Third is, similarly. This example is Italian painters are renowned for their innovation. Similarly, so are the Greeks for their philosophies. Fourth is also I walk out the meeting. Also, why was John going off like that? That is no way to talk to an employee. Fifth is correspondingly. I think mathematics, and their example is I think mathematics is quite challenging. Correspondingly, so is physical science. Sixth is simultaneously, and their example is I walked out of the train. Simultaneously, my ex-girlfriend walked in. Seventh is in the same breath, and their example is I advocate for equal human rights. In the same breath, I believe that we must all tolerate each other's difference. And their outcome and for outcome and result, we are in this we are use first is therefore. Their example is I believe in the cosmos, therefore I follow astronomy and horoscope religiously. Second is as a consequence. Their example is I tried to write 2 exams on the same day. As a consequence, I failed one. And third is thus I was not true sure I could pass my IELTS exam. Thus, I decided to hire a tutor for this. As a result, their example is it rains quite often in Europe. As a result, most Europeans tend to vacation in sunnier desert destinations. Fifth is accordingly, and their example is umbrella offer protection during various weather. Accordingly, it is good to carry them around when it is hot and raining. And our contrast, there are 11 type of contrast. The first is nonetheless, and their example is I know that humans only use on average about 10% of their brains. Nonetheless, I often feel quite stupid. Second is nevertheless, I really was not feeling very well. Nevertheless, I went to work because of the presentation. Third is in contrast, and their example is properly prices seem to constantly be soaring each year. In contrast, car prices seem to be diminishing. Fourth is however, and their example is I wanted to purchase a dress I saw in the shop last week. However, when I returned to the store today, it was sold out. Fifth is yet, and their example is sometimes I feel like I can't pass my final exam, yet I still study hard. Sixth is all the same, and their example is he is a very good looking guy. I can admit that, but all the same, I still don't think you should go out with him. Seventh is in any case, and their example is we planned to host dinner party, but only 3 people showed. In any case, we still had the party and it was a great time. It is instead, and their example is America should consider taking care of things their gun laws. Instead, they printed there is not a problem. Ninth is on the contrary, and their example is I used to believe in Valentine's Day when I was younger. On the contrary, I think it is the dumbest holiday in the world. Tenth is by comparison, and that example is dating in the 21st century certainly has its risk. By comparison, it also has its perks. And 11th is on the other hand, and their example is I can completely agree with what Lisa and said. On the other hand, I cannot disregard what Paul said either. And the sequence, when we are use sequence, so first word is firstly, in the first place, or first of all, and their example is Firstly, she mentioned that she would be on time for the meeting, but she wasn't. Secondly, in the second place. Secondly, and the example is secondly, we all know how well she did in that physics exam. Eh, Please 1 minute. Third is uh, third is thirdly in the third place, and their example is third. You can always just claim that you did not see the missed call from me. Four is last of all, and the example is last of all. It may be important to schedule the next meeting and delegate task. Fifth is for nothing. For example is for one thing, dogs are completely loyal to their owners. Sixth is to begin with. Their example is to begin with. How about you consider making a different choice? Seven is for another thing, and their example is for another thing. Your choice may not be incorrect, just not currently applicable right now. Eight is in addition, and their example is I stopped by Lisa's apartment to check in on her. In addition, I called her on her mobile phone, but she did not respond. And nine is also, and their example is it is pouring rain outside. Cat also, why are you not dressed in warmer clothes? 10 is beside, and their example is beside us no longer begin in communication. You are still someone I hold great deal of respect for. 11 is Muro, and their example is I thought that smoking cannabis was illegal. Moreover, I was certain there were health risks too. 12 is furthermore, and their example is she spoke to Ben last night, and all your cloud here was yelling and screaming. Furthermore, I think they ended their relationship. And 30 last is finally, and their example is finally the package I ordered last week on Amazon has finally arrived. Order of relevance of importance. First is most importantly. The example is I think it's best we discuss work life balance most importantly, how the organism can ensure employees are not overworked. Second is most significantly, and their example is she gave a rather impressive speech. Most significantly was how everyone stopped up in great applause. Third is essentially basically, and their example is essentially you are going to have to come to terms with the loss. Fourth is above all, and their example is my dad is one of the most loyal people I know. Above all, he is always supportive of my goals. And fifth is pri- uh, primarily primarily, and their example is when I drive I tend to be quite cautious primarily about really fast drivers. And there and exemplification, giving example. The first is for example, and their example is I think Thailand is a country known for its religion. For example, they have an endless collection of beautiful temples. Second is for instance, and their example is apparently every time you walk out of the house, you could die. For instance, you could be hit by a bus while crossing the road. And third is to illustrate, and their example is misinformation can cause many disagreements. To illustrate, a company advertising the incorrect price could lead to the customer getting quite upset. And emphasis. First is in fact, and their example is I could say that trade sanctions are trouble for the economy. In fact, I could go on a limb and say they start wars. Second is actually, And their example is, I was going to install the new app on my computer tomorrow. Actually, I think I will just do it today. Third is, as a matter of fact. And their example is, what most people fail to understand is that traveling is not for everyone. As a matter of fact, many people prefer to settle down in one place. And fourth is ended. And their example is, ended. It may be a lot easier to just give up on passing your driver's license test. And their explanation and their first is namely, and their example is, calling any customer service hotline is rather useless, namely calling the bank's hotline. Second is, that is to say, means that is, and the example is, never apologize for learning something new. That is to say, don't give up on your dreams because of what other people think. Third is, put differently, in other words, can also be used. And their example is, it gets really busy during holiday time and the beaches tend to get crowded. Put differently, rather go to the beach before holiday season starts. And four is, in other words, and their example is, there is much to discuss before choosing to start a family. In other words, you don't just want to rush into it. And the dismissal is dismissing what has been said prior. First is anyhow, and their example is, anyhow, I will just take the next train instead. Second is at any time, and their example is, at any rate. At any rate, learning a new language will not be easy. And third is anyway, and their example is, I was trying to get your attention earlier. Anyway, it does not matter now. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe this channel, and you can join our Telegram channel which name is dpielts. So thanks for